Yo, what's poppin', guys? You got your boy Nandra here, back at it with another video. Now, for this video, I wanted to go ahead and show you guys a nice intro building. Now, I haven't really done one of these in a while. I think like the last one I did was for like the intro building artifact portal, I think. So I just wanted to go ahead and share with you guys a nice, interesting list I've like playing on the side, both on and off the stream that I've like really enjoyed. That does pretty well in like the early days of the main expansion. Now, this is gonna be the deck. It's actually for Forest Craft, interestingly enough. Now, might be thinking, well, but Nandra, why Forest Craft? Well, a lot of times I'm pretty I'm like low-key a hipster sometimes, and sometimes like if I see like the classes are like not getting like enough love or respect or anything like that, I usually go ahead and like I'll try to like maybe play maybe like take 1 or 2 days out of the week and just go ahead and like go and play the class and go ahead and figure out, okay, well, what's going on, why is this bad, what can make it better. Like, for example, like I know numerous times in the last like 6 months, not 6 months, the last like 9 months or so, I've like done this with blood, and now I'm doing this with Forest Craft. So for Forest Craft right now, I think that like one of the strongest win cons you have is just Grinkland Axeman. Like Bale is nice or whatever, but like Bale is like technically kind of just really cute. Like, don't get me wrong, like Bale spam is like really strong, but it's also really cute because like you're still asking a question at the end of the day. You're not actually just like ending a game. Like it's kind of similar to how like, oh, if you play Dario versus Dragon and then Dragon drops Bahamut on you, and that you just you're out of the game. You don't do anything else. And right now we're in a pretty like board focused format where we're allowed to the top decks, they have answers to removing things. So I was like, yeah, let me go ahead and like play Grinkland Axeman. The reason why I'm like playing Grinkland is because it's a very flexible win con. So as you can see here, it's like rush, so that's already very good. Adjust the board when it comes out. 6 mana, so that comes out decently early. And of course, the emblem that you get, which is the at the end of the turn, deal 2 damage to the enemy leader. At least 3 cards were played this turn, and this effect lasts for the rest of the match. Yeah, it stacks. So you can do 2 on turn 7, which is like it seems like small, but that's like it's very flexible because like if you need damage, cool, go ahead and just go ahead and like storm down your opponent. If you need to stall, cool, go ahead and stall. Either way, Greenland will still be in the back, just like triggering. Now, an interesting thing that I realized recently is that Greenland damage is actually no joke, especially now with the ability to have multiple Greenlands when you need it. So Greenland damage is 2 on turn 7. If you have a second one on turn 8, you can play Greenland plus double 1-drop. That's 6 damage then, because you do 2 damage the first time, then you do 4 damage the second time. Then if you somehow have a third Greenland on 9, right, you can go Greenland 2-drop 1-drop or triple 1-drop, something like that, and that's 6 damage then. So that's currently 6, 4, 2, so that's 12 damage right then. And then of course on turn 10, that's 6 more damage. So that's a total of 18 damage, all effect damage, and all very difficult and all literally impossible to stop because of how it does it in increments of 2, as long as you still have cards that you can play the entire time. So obviously, of course, at that point I'm like, damn. Well, the first question becomes, oh, how often can I have this Greenland in my hand? And how often can I have like all 3 of these in my hand? Now, in the past, that was kind of like somewhat difficult to do. Like I know in the past, like sometimes having a double axeman or whatever, it was like that'll happen. But if you wanted to have 3 axemans, you usually have to bounce one of them. Well, I don't think you have to do that anymore. Why? Because enter Liza. So Liza, Queen of the Forest, she is the 3-drop legendary vampire random with 1 lowest cost Forest Craft from your deck in your hand. Now notice how she says how she doesn't like have like any exclusions. The only thing she cares about is like what is the lowest cost Forest Craft in your hand. That means yes, she can add herself. This is what's known as the Liza loop. So with Liza loop, you go ahead and just like play like a neutral early game. This way, the second you find 1 Liza, the first Liza you find allows you to find the other 2 Lizas, plus 3 copies of whatever the highest cost creature in your hand is. Now, sometimes you can use this to find Bale, but again, like I said, I wanted to find Axeman just because I really like what Axeman does, and I don't really believe in the high roll that Bale can give you. So in this case, if I'm already being able to like tutor Axeman and whatnot, I have to go ahead and just make the deck in such a way that I can go ahead and like actually abuse that properly. So this is the rest of the list. So I'll go ahead and like cover each card individually because of course there's a lot of like funky ass card choices that you've never seen before. I suspect, and that's fine. So without further ado, treasure map. So I'm playing 3 copies of treasure map. Now you might be wondering, but Nandra, why? So I'm gonna keep 100 with you guys. So initially when I played this deck, I wanted to just like relax after like a 10-hour stream, So just kind of playing the deck and just kind of chilling with it. Now, part of why treasure map is still here is because like about 3.5, maybe 4 of the 7 options they can give you are very solid. So it's like eerily similar to that of Mysterious Knowledge, except obviously, of course, there's like way more variance, because I know the first three times I casted the treasure map in this deck, it always gave me Grave Desecration. Getting Grave Desecration was like nutty as hell, and I was like, and that's like the best possible pool. However, there are some games where it gives me Enchanted Library, that's pretty good too. Some games where it gives me Bloodthirst Flowerbed, that's really good. For some games where it gives me Force of Dreams, that's super good versus Dragon, so on and so forth. Now, literally, the only super bad, and incredibly you'll never play this options are Pegasus Sculpture, Arthurian Light, and then like Phoenix Truce. However, for Arthurian Light, you can still technically play it. It's just like I don't. For me personally, I'll never find a game state where I'll like want to be like, oh, well, I have this. I can just like freely play it. Unless my opponent's like absolutely nothing, but that'll never happen, most likely. 3 Fountain Angels. So for the Fountain Angels, this one's pretty loosely tied to, or sorry, pretty strongly tied to that of the Lena Twin Souls, which we'll talk about in a bit. But generally, what I like doing with it is I like using it as a one cost thing in order to trigger Axeman on 7. In order to trigger Axeman on 8, because that's really important, because this way you get to keep up the pressure, because you only have but so many 1-drops that you can play, right? So it's nice for doing that. It's also nice because a lot of the creatures that I do play in the early game, they do unfortunately only have 1 attack. So being able to like use, like for example, like Liza, so being able to like use those to go ahead and trade up into creatures for free, it's pretty nice, because I go ahead and I kill the creature, then like 2 turns later I go ahead and get to draw an additional card. That's great. Helps me keep up on cards. Helps me like dig through my deck, just pushing through it and finding the rest of the stuff I need. 3 Fairy Circles. So again, like I said, when you play Liza Loop, you go ahead and you have a neutral early game. But I wanted to have creatures just because, of course, if my opponent's not doing something, I want to be doing something. So enter Fairy Circle. Fairy Circle is really strong for several reasons. One, it's a play you can make on 1. It's a play you can make on like turn 8 or something like that. If you need like again like counters for Axeman. It's what else is it? It's like early game pressure. It just helps like make some parts of the deck work like very, very well. 3 Paradise Vanguard, aka Waifu Vanguard. So for this one, you can also make this like legendary fighter, but for me, at the moment, I'm really liking Paradise Vanguard a little bit more. So one thing that I've noticed with this deck is that a lot of times, like because of the fairy circles and things like that, many people will like trade into the fairy and then like have like a 1 HP unit. So therefore, Paradise Vanguard just comes through, cleans things up, gets you a nice swing of wall on 4 where I need it. It also, at the end of the day, it's also just a 2 mana 2/2, so that's great. Ephemera Sword Angel. So Ephemera Sword Angel, she's a 2 mana 3/1 vampire. There's no ally followers in play, gain rush. So basically, you just like use her as like a 2 mana 3 damage removal spell most times. However, of course, the nice thing is that because she's a creature, creature scale slightly better than removal, and that if nothing's going on, like for example, I went first. Oh, I just gonna toss her out as a 3/1. 3/1 is very, very nice. Because it applies a lot of pressure. It usually means their opponent's like, they're not going to want to take 3. I promise you they're not going to want to take 3. And even if they take 3, they're not going to want to take 6. And that's, a lot of pressure on your opponent. It just helps you put you in the driver's seat early. 2 Striker Blade, aka Waifu Blade. So for Striker Blade, honestly, this, much like Treasure Map, is one of those cards. It's one of those like slots that you can like probably like take out and then put in for something else. That's like low on the curve that you might like. For me, the only reason why I'm doing Striker Blade is because like I noticed that one, it's decently hard for me to actually like get playability value out of this, and I did buy these, so I might as well get the playability value out of it, but also because, like I said, there's a decent chunk of things in the format that are actually like decently big they might want to kill. And of course, lastly, and this one's like, it was actually a little bit more important. At the time when I was like playing this deck, I noticed that like the Orb of Desecration portal deck was also a portal deck that the people were playing. So one nice thing that I like about that is they can go ahead and actually like play Sacred Blade to kill their orb, then go ahead and play a creature, and then go ahead and evolve the creature into their 4/4 to kill that. But this way, they don't actually get to do anything for a while, and you get to stall them out decently well, and that's like pretty cute. I don't know how well it works, so I've never actually gotten a chance to do it, but that's just the idea I had in my mind when I was like actually playing this. 3 Sylvan Justice. So Sylvan Justice, again, pretty much a mainstay of like slower forest list. It's still pretty good. It adds up to my fairy count. Additionally, it's also a great play on turn 3, so most times I'll usually actually keep this in my hand. A lot of times, because I can go ahead and like on turn 3, oh, go, you play 2/2, let me go and Sylvan Justice and develop a fairy, because it's actually like proactive removal in a sense. 3 Predatory Might. So you might be wondering, but Nandra, isn't 3 Predatory Might like heavy as hell? Yeah, it is. It definitely is. However, I like using the Predatory Might just because like it does 5 damage. Like there's I don't think there's like anything else in the format that even comes close to just like ships just like dealing like that much damage for that low of mana. Yes, of course, there's obviously a catch, but most times I find that most people, they usually go tall. Like for example, the match where this card like really excels is in the Portalcraft matchup. So in the Portalcraft matchup, there's two particular units that you want to kill with this, but most times it's just the first one. The first one being that of Lashana. Lashana usually comes out, usually trades into like a fairy or something like that. It usually ends up at like 5 HP. At 5 HP, it usually takes you, well, either Matera or this card to kill it. But obviously, I would prefer just use this card. Now, most times what will happen is I'll go ahead and I'll play like Liza, like, my turn 3 or something like that. Maybe possibly sometimes my turn 4, depending on what happens. Then we'll go ahead and evolve, kill it. I'll go ahead and get another Liza, and I'll just go and play Liza plus Predatory, and then just kill the Lashana. That's great because at that point, we've both made progress. I've already put 1 green into my hand. They've already started their timer. But they usually have to have a bunch of puppets in order to kill off Liza anyway, or they usually just try to sub it, in which case I just get free Greenland to play out for free. That's great. 1 Luwena, the Bro family. So this one is also another very funny slash interesting choice. So for the Luwena, honestly, there should be either 2 Luwena or maybe like a third Lena, or maybe even like a third Lena. But for now, I've been really liking the Luwena. Now, the reason why I like the Luwena is because of Elsam, literally because of Elsam. So, if you don't know what Elsam is, he is he's a 2/1 for 3 mana storm follower. Now you might be thinking, but Nandra, that's like really slow. That's like really slow, right? That's like in order for you to get that, that costs 6 mana. Well, most times because you're like stacking Greenlands and things like that. Most times you've stacked enough Greenlands this way, anything you play that has storm is like immediately threatening, just because of all the Greenland damage in the back. So with Elsam, it's like pretty good. The other thing that I really like about Elsam is because for 10 mana I can go Luwena, Elsam, into Lena, and that's great because at that point I get technically 6 damage storm before evolves, and then of course it can be up to 12 damage with Axeman. We'll start with Axeman stacking, which is like nice. It's very nice. It feels very good. And lastly, this card is a neutral as opposed to being a Forsaker follower. Sometimes it matters, but sometimes it doesn't. With like Liza pulls, because as you see over here, I have 3 different 4-drops that I can pull with Liza, but yeah. Most times though, you almost never play either Tomoe or Human Paradigm Attack. Like the games just never come to that. Also, the other reason why I only have this as a 1 is because I already draw through my deck by a strong portion, and literally the only matchup where it matters if you have Luwena or not is versus Portal. Just because Portal can heal with Destruction in White, because Destruction in White actually each Destruction in White like neutralizes one of your action triggers, so you have to like actually like do all of this at the same time if you for some reason like didn't get started on time. But yeah. 3 Liza, we already talked about this, right? So I mentioned this before, but let me mention this again. The Liza loop is so strong that once you find 1 Liza, you've essentially drawn 6 cards. Now the nice thing about this is that like you basically just if your opponent's doing something cool, you just go ahead and you clear the board while waiting to find space to play another Liza in order to stuff another Green Glen. Oh, your opponent's not doing anything? Cool. You slam that Liza, boom, you're making progress because they're gonna have to kill it. They're gonna have to kill it, and they're gonna get Green Glen. Because most times I find that a lot of times people like they just kind of like they kill it and then they don't really realize that, oh, well, he's gonna get an Axeman, so I have to not only kill it, but I have to put myself in a spot where he can't like kill it, get an Axeman, and just trade into my creature. Most times the only deck that I think the format that can like really stop you from doing that is like Dragon with like Poseidon, and then Broomcraft with like wards. But even then, you don't necessarily have to play it. You don't necessarily have to play the Axeman. After you play the first Axeman, you don't necessarily have to play like more Axeman. You can just wait and take your time and like play them when you get the chance. But most times I usually just go and like slam them down because it's pretty good. One ward I've been killing. So honestly, when I was going through the deck, like the deck has gone through I think like at least like one big change earlier, because earlier I had like copies of Slash of the One, because I actually really like Slash of the One. That's a whole like separate story. But of course I couldn't actually play Slash 1 because like haha, Lashana amulets are indestructible. So I was playing Ward of Unkilling just because like it was one of the animate cards that happened to see first, as well as the Way of the Bro family. They both played out pretty well. Now for Ward of Unkilling, if you don't actually like playing Falcon Grace, you can make your copies of Falcon Grace Ward of Unkilling. Now it's not as good because it like you only buy yourself, well, in both cases you only buy yourself like one turn. But Ward of Unkilling is you know slightly cheaper. You get a card draw, so you might be able to find your Lena if you're like digging for those, or your Lowain or like your Axeman things, or if you're digging for those. I just like Falcon Grace because Falcon Grace can also be used to kill big boys as well, so that's why I kind of got the edge over that. But you know, only taking 5 damage per time per instance of like big damage is like not bad at all. Just because there's actually a slight but not like heavy amount of healing in this deck. Again, like I said, 2 Falcon Grace, it kills off big boys, it kills off Lashana amulets, but mainly though it kills off Lashana amulets. And I know sometimes it's like nice because like if you do it once, yeah, if your opponent went first and then you have an evolve, that means that they'll only ever have one Lashana amulet unless they like Apostle of the Destruction in white, or unless you just like burn both evolves on Lashana. If they burn both evolves on Lashana, you have enough time, you have enough space that you should be able to like axeman them down. But if they have but it gets tricky if they went second and they have like all 3 evolves, because at that point, if they're smart, they'll never ever let you like Falcon Grace and then also like still win the game, because of course, you know, at that point Maisha's just like somewhere there, someone in the back just lurking, waiting for 10 mana. But it usually works out pretty well in your favor, but that's just me. 2 Matera. So interestingly enough, I'm only playing 2 Matera. And I may be wondering, but Nandro, why aren't you playing 3 Matera? Like, Matera is so good. Well, Matera is really good, except it's not as good in the Portalcraft matchup, which is like why I'm not playing it. Additionally, most times I play this deck, because there's so much removal in the early game, there's very few creatures that actually ever need to evolve Matera to kill, because most times there's no way that creature somehow dodge Predatory Might, Seraphic Blade, and Silver Justice, as well as Ephemera at the same time. Yeah, that almost never happens. So most times I find myself like not needing to evolve. Or like there's actually been a ton of games where I'll just have like 1 copy in my hand, and I'll just like sit in my hand, and just like never get played. Now, but it is still, you know, nice to have at least 2, just because like it does kill big boys. Like it can kill Poseidon, it can kill 2/3 Poseidon. It can kill Satan, it can kill Holy Wing Dragon, it can kill Hellflame Dragons, you know, things like that. And of course now like getting the card draw from that is actually nice as well. If you do in fact run into a situation on like around like turn 8 or 9 or so, where you might start to slowly run out of cards. 2 Lena Twin Souls. So I'm only playing 2 of this, but yeah, I'm pretty sure that this card is one of the well, not now, but it will eventually maybe be like a big winner for Forest, because like I think this card is very, very nice, but it does you know the stuff it needs to do. Now I decided to go ahead and, like I said, play this kind of packages, because like for me, I really like my defensive back. I really like my defensive backbones. Any single time I play a more like aggressive focused deck, if anything goes wrong, I usually end up losing. So that's like why, like, you know, like I said, having defensive fallbacks, this way I can like pivot into that and just like win anyway. So she's Storm, and then of course if you play 2 other cards, she gains Evolve, can attack twice per turn. So basically, this card is like playing what's it called? Is like playing the Fairy Driver. It's like playing Fairy Driver, or it's like playing Beat Ward, depending on how you want to look at it. Now, most times she'll come out and she'll you know, like do that thing. Taking 4 damage randomly for 4 mana and maybe an evolve is a lot, or possibly for 6 mana no evolves is also a lot. It's decently good like damage conversion, especially because like you only need like one mandatory card in your hand. You always need to have at least just her. You can search for her after you've like searched for all of your axemen off of Liza, and that's like pretty nice. She also scales decently well with Fountain of Angels, because you can go, well, on turn 7 you can get like one drop, play her, play Found Angels. Boom, that's like 6 damage right there. It's nice. But most times you should just like hit for 4, and then plus however many like green glance stacks you have. But it's like not bad. Now I'm only playing 2 of it only because like I don't remember why. Oh, I remember now. Alright, so I only pulled 2 of these while I was like opening up my packs, and I refuse to craft the 3rd one, so I'm just playing 2 of these for now. Or if you want, you can go ahead and you can like you can cut some stuff at the beginning. Like I said, treasure map. It's pretty filler. You don't have to play if you don't want to. So you can like cut that or have space for this. So. But honestly, if you're gonna play 3 up of anything, I think the 3 up that I would probably like playing the most is probably Carbuncle. Now you might be wondering, but Nandra, why Carbuncle? Well, Carbuncle is very nice. I've enjoyed it a lot because you get to evolve it, right? You get to evolve it. You gain back 2 mana. You heal for, how much is that? 2? Yeah, you heal for 2, and that's like great. The reason I like Carbuncle so much is that is because sometimes when I'm going first, what that means is I can go ahead and I can play 2-drop, maybe like Fairy Circle on 1, 2-drop on double Fairy on 2, play Liza on 3. Liza will die around like turn 4, and then like Liza will die around like turn 4. Turn 4, but turn 4 I don't like develop another Liza. But turn 5 I can go ahead and like play Carbuncle, evolve Carbuncle, get back to 2 mana. I'll have 3 mana. Then I'll go ahead and get to the freely develop Liza. Yeah, like for most part, as long as you don't force your Liza developments, you should be in a good spot, I think. And it's just like very nice that like let me do that, because like it just kind of comes into play sneakily like that. And again, because you're drawing so many cards because you're drawing slash searching so many cards off of all of your Liza pulls, that's great, because it does mean that they have more likelihood to actually get a Carbuncle Sparkle when you need it. Most times I can usually find at least like 1 Carbuncle Sparkle decently fast, but you don't always like need it like immediately or anything like that, which is like why I had the Liza 2 instead of 3 of. It's just one of those. It's very nice sometimes, because like what you can do with it is you can use the Carbuncle Sparkles to evolve creatures you have in play to go ahead and like surprise your opponent with a little bit of like a little bit of like extra damage from just being able to evolve into their face with like accent stacking in the background. It's like pretty good. It feels pretty good. Now most times it will matter more when you have Lena, because like for example on like turn 9 you can go Carbuncle Sparkle into like I don't know like Lena, evolve that one, and then play second Lena for a total of how much is that? Possibly 10 damage minimum, well 8 damage minimum, no axeman, and then up to 12 damage with 2 axemen stacking, and that's like great, because it's a lot of damage. Like all the damage like builds up. It's like damn. It's like holy. Like I was expecting to take all this damage. Oops. Burst shot. So you might be wondering, Nandra, why burst shot? So sometimes when I play Liza on my turn 3 going first, and my opponent because Liza herself is like actually like not so much pressure, I need to make sure that I don't actually get punished for playing it. So as part of why I have Found Angels, so I can trade up 2 units, but also I have burst shot. Now burst shot serves 2 purposes. Again, like I said, it helps with the Liza thing, and it also helps with the sometimes at the end of the game, you maybe don't have like Lena's, but you maybe will have played a ton of fairies. So you can see here I have 3 fairies, sorry, total of 6 fairies from this, and then 3 fairies from this. So it's a total of 9 fairies altogether. That means that your burst shot can do a total of 10 mana, 8 damage. That's great. It's basically like the equivalent of like what you would have done if you had like green glance and things like that. Now at one point I actually even wanted to try to play Flower of Fairies. This way I could go Wisp, then burst shot for a total of 14 damage, but I couldn't do it. I couldn't. It was too much. It was too meme. I couldn't bring myself to do that, chat. It was not much. But yeah, but the burst shot has been pretty nice. I've enjoyed it. Again, for this one, you also don't need to play 2 of it if you don't want to. You can play 1 of it, just because it's one of those things. Like I usually only want to see 1 of it most games, which is like why I played it as 2 of. But I don't know if that will make sense. But if it doesn't, please go ahead and refer to my 1 of 2 of 3 of video, and go ahead and use that as a reference. Lastly, 3 axemen. Literally, like 3 axemen is like core. You don't leave home without it. Same as you don't leave home without the 3 Liza. Like this will still be like pretty strong, and it'll be like a pretty potent win con for forest up until it rotates. It actually rotates in about 4 months or so. No, yeah, no, actually in about like 4 months or so, give or take. So like when that happens, that'll be like pretty big, but that'll be a story for another day. what was I about to say? Oh, I remember now. Yeah. So I do have a ton of gameplay for this, and I'll go ahead and like. Well, I won't show you guys in this video because like this video is already pretty long, but I've had a pretty good win rate versus Portal. Let's see, I think I played like 4 games versus Portal, 104. Oddly enough, I played versus Sword for like my next most popular list. Partially because like people really like Ayala as well as Spartacus, and also just because like mid-range Sword is one of those. It never gets bad. It never drops down lower than like tier 2 ever. So yeah. But like I said, that'll be in another video. If you guys enjoyed this video though, go ahead and leave a like, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Let me know what you think about Grinder Portal, not Grinder Portal, I'm sorry, Grinder Forest. That would comment below. Thank you guys for watching, I'll catch you.